Welcome to another Monday Night Raw review. No title because I'm in a new location, but I still got that Monday Night Raw review. I'll be a little bit late, but they kicked it off with a backstage segment where it was like an earlier in the night thing where Cody Rhodes basically showed up to the arena and then got blasted by Brock Lesnar. With Brock Lesnar this time instead of saying, "Look at my face," he said, "You want to fight? You want to fight me, Cody?" And then he just basically brutalized him, beat him up, and then picked up a keg. And then as Cody tried to get up, and basically was like trying to hold himself up against the door, he threw the keg on Cody's arm, basically shattering it, or maybe gave it a sprain. But that won't be the end of that segment but that was like it for that part. But there's more to that later on. So Paul Heyman came out, basically a couple promos saying, and he even alluded to what just happened, said that that's just a he had nothing to do with it, but that's going to be what Cody was had to deal with at Night of Champions, and that he pretty much hyped the crowd on the match between the Usos, the Roman Reigns and Solo versus Sami Zayn and them, and basically said some disparaging remarks about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which brought out Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But by the time they got to the ring, Paul Heyman was gone. They was like, "Where's Paul Heyman? I never seen him move and scurry off like that." But he did start talking about how they talking about how they was going to there's nothing more to say to Roman that they will retain at Night of Champions. But then shift their focus to Imperium, which after they got done talking about how they was going to win, or that Roman's greed has brought them to this, they was going to basically shift focus now to Imperium, because they said that's not a Champions. We got to focus on Imperium. And then Imperium came out, and thus that in the talking portion of this promo, because there was no talking from Imperium. They just surrounded the ring, a la like the Shield, and was getting ready to attack. But then all of a sudden they got interrupted by Matt Riddle, because he would come out to stand with them, even though people thought it might have been Drew McIntyre. But no, it was Riddle. Riddle came out and to stand with them. And Imperium was like, going through like, "Come on, we just, it ain't worked now, it ain't worked it, blah blah blah, come on." And then as they would, they thought they was leaving, then Sammy and them was all in the ring talking, and then they all shit they focus. Imperium just came back rushing to the ring, and a brawl wouldn't shoot, but then Kevin Owens and them was standing tall. We will get the first match of the night, which is Ricochet versus Bronson Reed. And that was a decent match. It wasn't. I want to say it was the best way to open Monday Night Raw match wise, but it wasn't bad. It was not bad. But yeah, that was it was. They had some great spots. It was a good spot between Ricochet and Bronson when Bronson was trying to come off the apron onto Ricochet, but Ricochet stopped him with a drop kick. That was a pretty cool spot. But Bronson Reed got the victory at the end. We then got the part 2 and 3. I just did it in one set, even though they did it in 2 different parts of the night. But we got the other parts of the Seth Rollins promo. Basically, he in the promo he said he didn't like part 1. He talked about Roman Reigns and that he loves Roman Reigns, but he doesn't like him. He said that's part of the brotherhood, right? They're like brothers. He loves Roman, but he doesn't like Roman. Especially, he doesn't like Roman in his title reign, because he said Roman is taking opportunities from people with his title reigns, and he said that's very selfish, and that him becoming World Heavyweight Champion is a way to give opportunity to people to change things and forget about Roman Reigns. That if he could become champion, that's what his goal is, to make everybody forget about Roman Reigns and him holding the championship hostage. And then I think the other part was just him talking about how they come full circle, how he needed to do this and that. AJ Styles is a tremendous athlete and all that type of stuff. But he said he had no doubt that it would, at Night Champion, it would be a fight between the two, and that. But he once again said he needed to become World Heavyweight Champion, so that because he said him and Roman and everybody is not going to be here. It's not going to be here much longer. So we need people to step up to take their place eventually, and that's what it means to him to be world champion. Let's see. Then we got the next match, which is Candice LeRae versus Zoe Stark. A nice little match between the two. Mostly putting over Zoe. She got more of the, I would say, domination. Candice did have some good offense, but Zoe dominated most of the match and ended up winning. Nikki Cross came out to ringside. I guess they're like some weird friendship between the two. And she just basically came out, and I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, she just basically came out and cheerleader, but then Zoe took both of them out, and then she hit her move. I forgot what they call her, the signature move, and pinned Candice LeRae. What else do we got here? Even though I wrote it down as a Brock Lesnar promo, it was originally a Mustafa Ali promo, where they was interviewing, Byron Saxton was interviewing Mustafa Ali about his match at Night of Champions with Gunther. He was talking about how he was like, I know you waiting for me to say something positively and all that type of stuff, but he said nobody's expecting me to beat Gunther at Night of Champions, but he said it took failure after failure for him to get to this point. And but then on nowhere, Brock Lesnar just boarded, and they were just like, "What the?" He just blew in the middle of the interview, because they was in gorilla position where the interview was taking place, and then he just went, like, before he went to the curtains, he just stopped like this, like, he opened the curtain, but then stopped a little back and told Mustafa Ali, "Get a line, kid." Like, Jesus. But and then Brock Lesnar proceeded to go out and do Cody's whole state light and say, "What do you want to talk about?" And he basically told the crowd that Cody Rhodes won't be at Night of Champions. He won't be able to face him due to his injuries at Night of Champions. But don't worry, Brock Lesnar going to give the people what they want. So he issues an open challenge to anyone in the back to face him at Night of Champions. All you got to do is come out and step up to Brock Lesnar. So as Brock Lesnar waited to see if someone was going to step up and come out to face him at Night of Champions, it was Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes came back out. He had now arm in the sling, and so the refs and Adam Pearce trying to stop him, but he would not be stopped. He'd get in the ring, take off the sling, all the protective stuff around his arm, and proceed to brawl with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar would get him into the Kimura lock. I almost forgot that part. Brock Lesnar would get him into the Kimura lock and seemingly break his arm. That was another time while he had him. You want to fight me, Cody? Come on, shit, boy. And then he seemingly broke his arm, but then he stomped on and then left the ring. There's still one more part to this. But to start that part, Cody tried to revisit Cody Rhodes backstage. He was kicking everybody out. He didn't want no medical help and told everybody to get away from him and get out. More on that later. We got the next match, which is Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. Nice, good match. Not, I don't know what they're doing with Maxine Dupree here, but nice little match. It was cool, and Alpha Academy would get the victory over Viking Raiders. Didn't really go that long, but it had some, I guess, good development for Alpha Academy. Shinsuke Nakamura got a nice little matchup next versus Finn Balor, which is with Sting from last week. Though more so, it's like they say no, Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. This is more if you're around here, like, Finn Balor just stepped in for Damian to teach him a lesson, but it was basically a way to set up him versus Damian. But it was a fun little match, one of the better matches of the night, and Shinsuke Nakamura basically almost like had the victory at hand, but Damian Priest continued interference, pissed off Shinsuke Nakamura, so he basically went to the outside, tried to beat up on Damian Priest and sent him over the railing in the timekeeper area, but the distraction was enough for Finn Balor to take control and hit him with the coup de grace and get the victory. Raquel, the thing I forgot to mention this too. So now, if you don't know, or you probably know by now, but if you didn't know, if you didn't keep up with wrestling, but you watched this video, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan was the women's tag team champions, but they had to relinquish that title because two things happened in that title match that happened when Liv Morgan and Raquel went up against Damage Control's Dakota Kai and Bayley. So in that match, Liv Morgan was for real injured. Dakota Kai, when she went to go do her little kick on Liv Morgan while she was like this on the turnbuckle, laying down on the turnbuckle, she kind of missed her mark. Her mark is supposed to be the face. She missed the mark and hit her in the shoulder. Like, I guess she hit her in the shoulder, like for real, connected for real, like right here, and did some serious dislocating, like damage to the shoulder, to where Liv Morgan, I think they revealed it like this week, but they revealed the injury, and then they revealed this week that her injury it was severe and would need surgery, to where she would be out for some time. But that's not all. Also in that same match, Dakota Kai. Now, the ironic thing is, the first injury was because of Dakota Kai. The second injury is Dakota Kai herself, and she did it to herself. When in that match, Dakota Kai came off the top ropes. Now, people thought that injury happened when she hit Liz, she also injured herself. No, it was later on in the match when she came off the top ropes to do like a start like move on. It was either Raquel and Liv, and I think they said she tore her ACL or tore something in her leg feet area, and now she will also be out with surgery for quite some time. So both Liv and Dakota both got injured in the same match and will be out for a long time. So this match was in place. This match was in place to just basically build on the story of Raquel needing to find another partner. And this match was Raquel versus Sonya Deville, with them, teasing that next week would be the I think it's like a fatal four-way or triple threat tag team match to determine the next women's champion. And it's going to be like Ronda, Shayna, Sonya Deville, and Chelsea Green. I know Raquel and her partner of choice that I might have revealed to you. I think it's another team in there, I think. But yeah, this match was a fun little match between between Raquel and Sonya, where Sonya would end up getting basically beaten and not in I want to say in fast order, but she did have a little bit of offense, but she would get beaten by Raquel. But Raquel and Chelsea Green would try to jump Raquel. Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green would try to jump Raquel with none other than Saucy Blackheart coming out to help her, and thus becoming her next tag team partner. Which I don't like the fact that they try to play like it's the first time they tag, which they already tagged before. Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus had a contract signing where they had to sign a contract for the Night of Champions promo. This is one of the best promos because they really dug into some history here. Trish reveals that this is her first contract signing and that she's happy about that, but that at the same time, this will be also her first and Becky Lynch's last, and that she promised to beat Becky Lynch at Night of Champions, and that when she do beat Becky Lynch at Night of Champions, Becky Lynch would be no more, and she would go on another hiatus, like missing, and Becky responded by saying that she knows that she tried to get the no touch clause and all that type of stuff, and that she's scared. But she told Becky told Trish that she don't need to be scared because she's not going to attack her. She want her at 100% at Night of Champions, but that she also want to tell her that she had a career that Trish could only dream of, and that if she thought barking like a dog was bad. Now, for those of you too young to know, back in like the early, it might have happened in the early 2000s, as in like literally like 2000, maybe 2001, or most likely it was in the 90s, like the mid to late 90s. I can't remember exactly the date, but there was a segment on Raw where Vince McMahon made Trish get on all fours and bark like a dog. You can go look that up on YouTube or on Peacock or whatever if you want to see that interaction. But that's what Becky Lynch was referring to, and it was cool that Becky Lynch brought that back up because that was like one of the worst. Like if anything, that was one of the worst segments and highlights of Trish's career, where she had to get on all fours and bark like a dog. I'm not even saying story wise. It was just like that was kind of like it was like that. It showed how little Vince cared about women's wrestling at the time. This upset Trish, who after they both signed the contract, this upset her. She flipped the table over and walked away. Then we would get the next match, which is Dominic Mysterio versus Apollo Crews. That started off from a backstage promo where Apollo Crews was trying to get interviewed, but Rhea Ripley and Dominic would interrupt, saying that was their time to do the interview, but they was fighting over it, and this led to this. It was a fun little match between Dominic and Apollo Crews. Obviously, Rhea Ripley got involved, and thus Dominic once again won the match thanks to interference from Rhea Ripley. Then we finally get the main event, which is Imperium versus Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle. And this was a great main event. This was a great main event. It was fun. It was hard hitting. It built on the future feud between Matt Riddle and Gunther, and you can see they've been trying to, ever since the tournament, they've been trying to build this up between Gunther and Matt Riddle. It was the tournament to determine the World Heavyweight Champion who was going to go to Night Champions, and this whole feud between Gunther. It was not the tournament, but it was the Battle Royal for Gunther's Intercontinental Championship at Night Champions. And they've been building upon this since then, and they built it in here in this match. But it was an overall good match. Gunther and all them. It was like it was a little bit of botches in there, but otherwise it was a good match, solid match from everybody. With Matt Riddle surprisingly and them getting the victory here over Imperium. Uh, I don't think they pinned Gunther though. I think it was like Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni that got who got pinned. I think it was Giovanni. But this is not the end of the show. This is the remember I told you there was still one more part to that Cody Rhodes segment. So after refusing medical treatment, the whole night after that incident in the ring with Brock Lesnar, Adam Pearce earlier in the night, I forgot to mention this too. That was the other part. I should have mentioned that was the other setup to this. Was that he called someone and was telling that Cody was refusing medical attention, that he doesn't know what to do, and that whoever he was talking to, the person was handling it. So it was revealed that that person was none other than Triple H himself. And Triple H was sober Cody Rhodes' locker room and tried to talk some sense into him and telling him that I understand nobody's questioning your toughness. We understand that you want to fight Brock Lesnar, but you gotta let medical people look at you. Gotta let us look at your arm, because he said I can just look at your arm and tell that it's broken. And rightfully so. I guess they put up the angle that it's broken, but. Cody Rhodes basically told Triple H that he doesn't want medical attention, and that what would he do if he was in his situation? What have you done? And that he said, and alluding to the fact that Triple H in situations like this have still went on and fought. He said, me and you run from the same thing. I got, okay, I'm down an arm, but I got another arm and 2 legs. I can still fight. And Triple H alluded to the fact that he know Cody Rhodes is scared that he get medical attention. The reason why he keep getting blown away the medical attention, that if they look at his arm and say that his arm is broken, he's afraid that Triple H won't allow him to go compete against Brock Lesnar at Night of Champions. He's trying to talk him out of it, but Cody Rhodes will not be deterred, and that he's telling him that he doesn't need medical treatment and he will go to Night of Champions to face Brock Lesnar. To which Triple H just said, all right. Pat him on the shoulder and said, okay. It seemed like there's no stopping you. You just determined, and that was pretty much the end of that Monday Night Raw. Overall, this was a good Monday Night Raw. There were some things that I didn't. Some of the matches were lackluster, but not awful. The promos was on point, but some of the matches just felt a little bit lackluster. But that's okay, because they probably saving all the good booking for Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. But I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. I was going to give it a 7. But then I'm like, nah, it felt more like a 6. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, Big Us. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed my reaction to this, you hit those buttons. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. Also, I forgot, if you enjoyed the video so much and want to see more, you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. Now, for more of my amazing content, hit any one of these videos. Peace out. Don't forget, I got more reaction. And I seen that PlayStation, showcase, so, yeah.